So welcome to 10 Ways to Promote Yourself in the New Economy. Really, things have changed. Advertising has changed more in the past 5 years than it has in the previous 50. Back in the days, the Mad Men days, there was really 3 ways and 3 places to put your messages: print, TV, and radio. And honestly, that's how everybody got their message out to the world if you were a marketer. So over the years, we got a little bit more creative with the mediums. So for instance, you might see an ad on a shopping cart in a grocery store. You might see an ad at your tray table when you're flying across country, or even sometimes in a bathroom stall. That was about as crazy as it got with the media, but really those were just mini billboards wherever you were traveling. Today, in the digital age, there are so many more places to put your message. So whether it's advertising and promotion, content, social media, there are literally tens of thousands of platforms and venues to put your message out and where people will interact with your brand. So it went from 3 to 3 million. So really, as a marketer, we have to look at what's available to us and know that we can't be everywhere all the time, and we have to pick what's right for us. Let's talk about 10 things that didn't exist 10 years ago. So first of all, I just got a little anniversary note in the mail from Twitter. I didn't realize Twitter was 10 years old. And further, I didn't realize that I had been on Twitter for 10 years, so that's pretty cool. The iPhone. I couldn't even believe that the iPhone has only been around 9 years. I have no idea what I did before I had my iPhone. The cloud, the elusive cloud where we store files and photos and all kinds of things. Nobody really knows where or what the cloud is, but now it is in charge of our whole lives. 3D printing. This is a brand new technology on the scene, and you can print clocks and cameras and actual anatomy, bones and skeletal things, and it's really incredible what people are doing with 3D printing today. Fitbit or Jawbone or any of these fitness apps and wearables, Nike Plus was first on the scene just a little over 10 years ago with that little chip you'd put in your sneaker and it would track you. But look what it's turned into today. There are so many jewelry and wearables and connections, online platforms for fitness that it's incredible. So Instagram hasn't been on the scene that long, and it's really taken over, and it's connected to Facebook and Twitter, and it's really become a great platform for sharing. Apple Pay is all new, so now you don't need to carry tons of credit cards around with you. You just have it on your iPhone, you have Apple Pay. Many stores and retailers are accepting it, and this is going to become a new way of exchanging funds. Google Maps for mobile, and this is really, so we had Google Maps for a long time, but the Google Maps for mobile has been able to change the face of finding your friends on the beach or tracking your kids when they're not where they're supposed to be, or getting from point A to point B in the car and finding the least amount of traffic. It's really amazing what these GPS apps have been doing. Hyper-local targeting. When you can walk by a coffee shop and look down at your phone and you're all of a sudden getting served up a $1 cup of coffee, when they know that you're that close, that's what hyper-local targeting is all about. And lastly, social media marketing as we know it. The first ads started running in Facebook about 10 years ago. And today, or this year, we are going to spend over $9.7 billion in social media advertising for a platform that didn't even exist 10 years ago. So, as you can see, the internet has changed the way that we live. And for those of you who communicate, especially with your kids via text and with each other via text, this is a whole new way of communication that we didn't do very long ago. It's changed the way we love. And if you've ever swiped left or swiped right on Tinder, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It changes the way we laugh. Okay, so who's a big fan of the cat video? So, yep, me too. So really, we find our comedy on YouTube and other areas, and we share videos with each other, and we Snapchat each other funny things. And this is really all about living your life. And let's not forget, it's a different way of how we market ourselves now. Okay. So let's get to 10 ways to promote yourself. So this first way of promoting yourself isn't exactly new. It's putting a stake in the ground. This is about putting your position in the ground and letting everybody know what you're about. Now, this isn't something new. However, it is something we need to pay attention to more than ever with a splinter net, as people call it. Putting a stake in the ground helps you differentiate from your competition. So in most categories, 4 out of 5 brands are seen as homogeneous. There's no difference. Less than 1 in 10 ads are even memorable or seen as different. And we're exposed to nearly up to 5,000 messages daily. So how can you cut through that clutter? And I have a great sort of personal example on this. And this is my son. And he's now heading off to college, but when he first took his SATs and the scores come in and the schools get the list from the SATs, he got sent hundreds, if not 1,000 inquiries from different schools all over the place looking for him to apply to their school. And what would happen is the mail would come in and he'd look at it, or he'd not look at it, and he'd toss it in the recycling bin. So as a marketer, I decided I'm going to save all this stuff and see what it means, see why he's just tossing it away. Well, it kept piling and piling and piling up, and at one point, I laid it all out in my living room, and I said it filled the entire floor. So what were people saying or not saying that were making him just inadvertently toss these inquiry pieces into the recycling? Hundreds and thousands of dollars spent making just the perfect message, and it wasn't resonating with him. And this is not necessarily how, pre-college students want to be talked to. He might have looked at a piece here or there, but by and large, he was online, he was doing the research himself. He was finding out what he needed through Naviance and other College Board apps on his phone, searching rankings and all kinds of things. He wanted to discover the school. He didn't want the school to tell him where he was going to go. And this is important for us as marketers to realize with this generation. Another way that putting your stake in the ground is so important is it helps you understand what you are selling versus what people are buying. It really helps to know what you are selling versus what people are buying. And Charles Revson, who was the founder of Revlon, said it best. He said, in the manufacturing facility, at the plant, we make lipstick, but in the store, women buy hope. And this is really interesting of their cosmetics because people do go in there looking for that right shade of lipstick, and that's the hope that they have in the inner beauty that it brings out in them. So really looking at what you're selling versus what people are buying. Let's just look at a few more examples. So Nike sells sportswear, but really what people are buying is that inspiration and that passion to crush the competition. Haagen-Dazs, just plain old ice cream, right? People are, they're selling ice cream, but what are people buying? The perfect adult indulgence. How about Google? Google sells information, but really what people are buying is access to the world in the click of a mouse. They are getting that instantaneous connection to whatever it is, whatever piece of information it is that they want. Expedia sells travel arrangements. You go on there and you book a flight and a hotel, but really what they're selling is an adventure. It's an experience of a new place. So it's really important to know what people are buying versus what you're selling. And that's really all about putting your stake in the ground. So let's get social. So people are still trying to figure out social media. Marketers are spending all kinds of money investing in social media experts and social media people who are, tweeting for them daily and posting on Facebook and looking and listening. And really, we like to liken social media to a cocktail party. And these are the different areas that you'll find at a cocktail party, things that you want to do and not things you don't want to do. So first of all, you can't be at all the parties. So if you think you're going to be on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Vine and Vimeo and YouTube and Foursquare and this one and Snapchat and everything else, it's better to pick a couple of parties and be your best at those parties than try to get around to all the parties. Be a good listener. Don't just come in talking. You wouldn't walk into a party and just start handing out business cards and dominating conversation. You want to hear the conversations that are going on and see how you might fit into those conversations. Be a connector and an educator. People don't want to be sold on social media. They're there, they're having a good time, they're conversing with their friends. Introduce people, make connections, connect a brand to a friend, connect a friend to another friend, connect a professional to a friend. So also teach people something they don't know, something that they can say, aha, and they might want to pass along and share. Don't just be, again, dominating the conversation. Be useful in social media. Don't be the life of the party. We don't want to hear from you 24/7. Certainly there are best practices, how often you should tweet, when you should tweet, how often you should post on Facebook, but you don't want to be there all the time. People are going to get sick of you and they're going to turn you off. And then lastly, this is not a place for your sales pitch. And you can certainly talk about what you do in the context of the platform you're on or in the conversation that's happening, but you don't want to just be hammering your sales pitch and not being engaging. So there's a good article. ThinkGeek is has a great example of how they do things. And we like to call it the 80-20 rule. 80% of the content should be helpful, informative, engaging, and 20% can be about sell. So you'll see that they've got non-brand and brand, and they have more non-brand than brand topics and content. So there might be giving away a t-shirt on a brand thing, but then they might be just telling you a helpful hint on the non-brand thing. So it's really a mix, and it really should lean more towards the helpful and the informative. So remember, audience-centric communication. What does your audience want to talk about? Not what do you want to talk about. So being where your audience is, this is really all about mobile technology. So let's just walk through where your audience is. So here they are on every kind of social platform available. You'll see, Facebook and Instagram and Vine and Twitter. So people are socializing. Have you seen all the pet apps out there, from dog walking, from tracking your dog's fitness to tracking vet bills and expenses and appointments to the electronic fence? You can program all kinds of things into your phone to help with your animals. And people are operating their houses from their phone now. They can set the temperature when they're away. They can set the alarm. They can look at different cameras throughout their house. So people are really able to operate their entire house mobily, which is really crazy. So how about all the personal and professional organization out there? There's task planning, and there's all kinds of calendaring and keeping track of what you're doing and expense reports. So there's so many apps available to help you live your life in a more organized fashion. And then, of course, how about all the food ordering on apps? So now my kids love this. And I don't even know that they know how to pick up a phone and call for a pizza. Seriously, they will go on to Papa Gino's and they'll place their order, and they always look at what the specials are first. They place their order, and then they can watch it. Just entered the oven, coming out of the oven, packing it up, driving up your street. Next thing they know, ding dong, the guy's there, they're paying, and they can even pay online. So on their phone. So really, ordering and engaging with fast food or any food has become the new norm. And then, of course, we've been talking about fitness trackers and that sort of thing. There are numerous platforms where you can track mileage and how fast you run and your heartbeat and all kinds of health and fitness apps. And it's really great because people get into it, and they all have a platform where you can connect with your friends, find out how they're doing, give them a nudge. So it is really a great connection tool, and it's also a tool that's great for your health. So let's just take a look at all the places you could be. Email, microsite, mobile, experiential, print. These are all the places that your brand can be. And what we need to think about today, if you remember back to the Mad Men era where it was print, radio, and billboard, we are everywhere, or you can be everywhere. So are people paying attention to you, and how are they paying attention? I just kind of want to zoom in on one. While people are watching TV, they're surfing the web, they're shopping, they're checking sports scores, they're looking at info on the actors on the TV shows that they're watching. They're emailing and texting their friends about the TV shows that they're watching. They're entering discussions about the TV show on Twitter. So all of these things are happening. It used to be that we just sat down and watched TV. Now there's lots of activity happening while we're watching TV. So marketers need to think about sequential sessions, and that means, what is your brand saying in all these different areas? If you have your audience watching TV, yet they're tweeting with you, you need to have somebody manning that social media platform. Somebody else might be doing something different where they're checking in on the actors. So you might want to make sure your pages are all set up that way. So in other words, be thinking about the entire customer experience, not just these media channels that are happening in silos, because they're not anymore. Let's talk about building a community. So stop selling a product. Start selling connection. Now, what do I mean by that? There are some really great brands out there, and they sell connection. The biggest one that's been doing it for the longest period of time is Harley-Davidson. Sure, they sell motorcycles and different equipment and apparel, but really, they're selling a community. If you drive a Harley and you know that there's Harley rallies, there's local area, Harley divisions that groups that people get involved in. There's all kinds of communities around the Harley stores. We have a Harley store near us, and people love that place, and they have festivals at it. And when's the last time you went down to your favorite retail shop and wanted to hang out for the afternoon and have hot dogs and all kinds of stuff? These are the things that happen at Harley dealerships. So they have really built, and their product is their community. Nike Plus, we've been talking a little bit about fitness apps, but they were one of the first ones on the scene to make sure that they were building, again, a community of people, and they were talking, wasn't about the product, it was about what you did with the product. It was about running, and it was about measuring and racing and being your personal best, and sharing it with your friends and with others across the globe, where you could pick up and go for a 5K run with a stranger who was halfway around the world. So really, they were also creating a platform. Lastly, if anybody's seen the Always video, Throws Like a Girl, it's amazing, and you should definitely watch it if you haven't seen it. But Always, could be out there with the Tampax and the other feminine products, just selling the benefits of feminine products. Feel confident, blah, blah, blah. But really, what they're selling was empowering women. And they ended up with a whole community around empowering women. So they're speaking in a voice that's much different than their competitors. So we are now in the connection business. Stop thinking about how you're going to sell product and start thinking about how you're going to sell connections and community. This is one of my favorite topics. I love talking about how to create a branded culture. And your employees are your most important assets. So when we work with clients, we like to talk about taking our employees from understanding that there's a brand at all, that stake in the ground, that's what it's all about, to actually believing in the brand, to actually becoming the brand. When they are your true brand ambassadors, they are delivering on your brand experience day in and day out, and they are your 24/7 brand ambassadors. The Ritz-Carlton is one of the best examples out there as having a branded culture. And their employees, they have a mantra, and it's, "We are ladies and gentlemen serving ladies and gentlemen." And the Ritz-Carlton wholeheartedly believes in treating their employees as the high-quality people that they are. So whether you're the doorman, the janitor, the housekeeper, the front desk clerk, the reservations manager, they are all treated with respect internally and with each other, so that they go in turn treat their guests in that same manner. So some of the internal verbiage is, our ladies and gentlemen might not have the wealth, knowledge, or education of our guests, but they do have the same values. People, and they really believe in this, people create memories, not things. The real values come from the ladies and gentlemen who bring the hotel to life. And in fact, I heard that each and every employee were authorized to give a certain amount of money to a guest who might have had a bad experience. So whether it was a dinner gone wrong or something wrong with the room, on the spot, without asking a manager, they were authorized to give a free overnight, a free meal, an appetizer, something that would make that guest delighted and have a great experience out of something that might not have been a great experience. So every single person is empowered to bring that brand to life at any moment. Another brand that does this great is the Nordstrom folks, and they even wrote a book about it. It's called the Nordstrom Way, and people use this book as a guide in their own businesses. And they really talk about customer service. There are stories about people having waiting in the gift lines at Nordstrom with Macy's bags, having their Nordstrom gifts ready, and the Nordstrom person says, oh, just give me whatever you got at Macy's and I'll wrap that up too. I mean, who does that, right? So Nordstrom staff are trained to go above and beyond for their employees. This is the Nordstrom management hierarchy, but let's look at how they've sort of flipped the typical corporate pyramid upside down, and they've put the customers on the top. And look where the executives in the board are. They are way at the bottom. It goes customers, sales and support people, department managers, middle managers, and then the CEOs and the executives are at the bottom of the pyramid. And this goes to show them what their priorities are. And lastly, I'd like to talk about Zappos, and I don't know if you can see that pyramid, but they do their pyramids a little differently. They do them in real life, but they have a lot of fun at Zappos. So here's just some great, they do internal competitions. They all got in a big Zappos box there. Of course, you all know about their free shipping, back if something doesn't fit, and that's a huge point of differentiation for them. And this I love. If you wear a tie on your first day, you get it cut right off and it goes on the wall of shame. There's no ties at Zappos, so it's pretty cool. Don't go in thinking you're going to be some big corporate executive. Everybody's kind of treated the same, and they're expected to sort of have a casual vibe about them. And these were so Zappos has 10 internal mantras, and I just picked out a couple here, but they're worth talking about, and I just love them. So deliver wow through service. And again, Zappos was built around service. Embrace and drive change. So giving that authority to each and every person who works there. Create a little fun and weirdness. I mean, who doesn't love that in a corporate mantra, right? The authority to create a little bit of weirdness. Be adventurous, creative, and open-minded. So something that's really important and embraced there. And then be humble was another one. And I think that's great because it really balances out their whole vibe there at Zappos. So remember, your employees are your living, breathing brand. So that is why it's important to invest the time and the money into building the perfect corporate culture. Let's talk about leveraging your content. There are so many places out there, and we talked in the digital sphere how many different places you can put your messaging. So let's just take a look at that for now. So here are a whole slew of places that you can put your content out. From social media to case study to videos and books and ebooks and podcasts and games, all kinds of places for you to put your content. And how can you organize it? Well, what we like to do is to create a content module. Now this is sort of a content concept, and you organize it in that fashion, and then you decide where you're going to put it out. Okay, so that one piece of content, we're going to make an ebook out of it, we're going to put it out on social media, we're going to create an infographic and an ebook, and then we're going to eventually get to an app. So when you start to strategize what the effect of your content is supposed to have, then you can decide where the best place is to deliver your content. So nowadays, content is more important than ever, but you don't want to get up and get into the churning. What you want to do is smartly and strategically organize your content and then leverage it in all this different media. Be strategic about your content. Mapping a customer journey is a really important thing to do as a marketer these days, because your customers come and go so many ways, and they can choose to turn you on and off like never before. So it's really important to understand their journey. So we like to use what we call the customer life cycle, and it really happens in 3 phases. It happens in the consideration phase, where somebody is deciding whether to buy your brand or another brand, and they're probably shortening a list. The next phase is the decision phase, where at that moment, what's going to make them choose your brand over another one? And then the retention phase, funny enough, this is where people forget to market, and it's really your most important phase, putting money and attention back into your existing customers, so not only do they buy again, but they tell their friends, and they keep that loyalty going. It's cheaper to keep an existing customer than it is to get a new customer, so you need to invest in the retention phase. And then we have that little internal circle in the middle, and that's your internal brand, your internal employees who are selling your brand at every single touch point along that continuum. The thing I love about the customer life cycle is it can be the same for a high-end vehicle, luxury vehicle, as it is for a Lay's potato chip. So let me just explain. The consideration phase might be a lot different, in time, but you still go through the same steps. You may research and do all this stuff for the perfect luxury vehicle, and you may only step in the potato chip aisle for 2 minutes, but the thought process happens just as fast. You look, you see Lay's, you see Y's, you see all the different, Old Cape Cod, you see all the different kinds of chips, and quickly your brain's going through I had an experience with that one, my mother used to buy that one, I used to eat that one at school, and all these things you're remembering about all the brands before you put your hands on that potato chip bag and make that decision. So even though the luxury vehicle takes a whole lot longer, it's still your brain's going through the same comparative process. So I always love the customer journey. Let's talk about this great mattress brand, Casper. They were born on the West Coast in California, and they couldn't really compete with the Stearns & Foster and the Sealy, and they couldn't come out and all of a sudden be in every last mattress store. So they took the mattress to the people, and they did all these studies about sleep testing and this and that, and they felt that you really couldn't get the real feel of a mattress by going into a mattress store and laying on something for 5 minutes and then sort of guessing and taking the salesman's word for it. So they brought the mattress to the people in cities, and it was called the Nap Tour, and they went to 7 different cities, and they have this tricked out 18-wheeler with these beds in it, and people could sign up again on their phone or online, and they could sign up for a half-hour nap. And so here are some of the pictures. So that's a close-up of the bed, and then the little shade would come down and a little place for your shoes. And actually, they had a little phone that would tell you bedtime stories in each one of the cubbies. But people could literally lay down for a half hour. And what a great PR stint. What a great platform for social media. People were tweeting from their beds, like just taking a nap outside in the, at the park and wherever, Casper would pull up. So it really was a great way to connect with customers on a personal level. So another great brand in customer experience and understanding the customer journey is Starbucks. And Starbucks realized that they had times during the day where they had all kinds of lines and people were getting irritated waiting in the Starbucks line. So they came up with this mobile order and pay. And again, with the food apps, this made a lot of sense, but this is Starbucks watching the pain points of their customers and creating an app to help them order ahead, find the Starbucks that's either nearest to them or closest to work or where they're going to be in 10 minutes, place their order, and now they can even pay for it on the app, and they just walk up and their order is ready for them right when they need it. So this is how Starbucks fixed that problem of long lines, and people are, eating it up, no pun intended, drinking it up. So put yourself in your customer's shoes and understand the journey that they're going through. Foster superfans. So like we talked about your employees are your brand ambassadors, you can also foster super fans, the early adopters who love your brand and want to tell the world about it. So there are 3 ways to do it: the VIP experience, personalized, customized, and individualizing the experience, and giving people a platform for word of mouth. So the VIP experience can be something really simple. So I'm a Hotels.com member, and I was on the other day and I got the secret price, and I was like, "Ooh, I got the secret price!" And it was marked down, and it said only 24 hours to get this special secret price. And then I realized they were probably doing that to everybody who logged on to Hotels.com. But for whatever reason, I felt really special about it. So I was nudging my husband, "We got to sign up now. We got to get this room. It's on the secret price." So that's sort of a VIP thing. You can build this into your technology, of course, and everybody can get the secret price, but people do feel special about it. And I'm in the know, and I still felt special about it. So there's this hotel. This is an ad for a hotel. And they realized that they could create a great customer experience if nobody had booked a room the next couple nights. Why not let the guest that was already staying there stay there for free? So that became their policy. And the picture's kind of funny because it says stay as long as the room's open, and you see the guy and he's growing out his beard and his hair. But it's not really costing them any extra. The room wasn't rented anyways, and they're giving their original customer this great experience. Where do you think that guy's going to go next time he's looking for a hotel? He's going to go to that hotel where he might get a few extra free nights out of it. So personalizing, customizing, and individualizing. This is so important in this day. So everybody wants to have a personalized experience, and you can. Have you been into the soda, like a McDonald's or Wendy's lately, where you can make a special soda with like Coke and cherry flavor and vanilla and like cotton candy, and everybody wants to customize their own everything. Sneakers, you can go online and pick your sole and your color and the Nike swoosh and whatever you want. So everybody loves this whole personalization today. So it's really a great way to connect with your customers, and nobody does it better than Disney. So if any of you been to Disney recently, you get a Magic Band, and I didn't think it was a big deal. And I went down and I got, "Do you want to customize your Magic Band?" I'm like, "No, I don't even, whatever." So I got down there and they actually had a Magic Band for me, and it had my name printed inside. So when I checked in, they didn't give you a key, they gave you a Magic Band. Even if you didn't want to participate in anything else, you've got your band to get in and out of your room. Well, all of a sudden, it's got your credit card attached to it. So now I'm buying drinks on my Magic Band and food, and I'm going on Animal Kingdom rides. And so it turns out this Magic Band was a great personalization thing. People bling out their Magic Band. They can buy little, Mickeys and different decorations, and they can pick the color that they want, and they can customize it. But it's a way for not only for Disney to connect with their, audience, but it's a huge revenue stream for them, because now people are buying with their free money on their wristband. So the other thing that wristbands do are get you, you can keep your itinerary on there. You can put the rides that you want to go on, and it'll flag you when you're coming close to a ride, or if a ride has a line that's not so large. You can now get your photo taken, and because your band, which has RFID in it, is connected to the camera, it'll just upload onto your own personal Disney page. So you can just have your picture taken all over Disney, and you decide later which pictures that you want to take. You can set up things with birthdays. There was a great story about how this family ordered their food, and they sent it to this dining area in Disney, and when they got to the restaurant, the hostess came out. She could tell they were coming because their bands were giving off the radio frequency, and she welcomed the Johnson family. "Come on in, your table's ready." No sooner did they sit down, all their food was brought out to them. It was all done because of this personalized attention on their band. Your brand can be a platform for word of mouth. So for instance, Peapod, so I'm going to just give you a couple of my favorite brands. Peapod is one of my favorite brands. It's related to Stop and Shop, and it's where you order your food online and the guy brings it to you whenever you designate a time. And I hate grocery shopping, but I love Peapod. So I have ordered my groceries from, the intermission at the high school play. I've been, waiting for my family for something, and I've been waiting at a sporting event and knocked off a few aisles of the grocery store. I'm able to do it before work one morning, and then I have it delivered the next morning. So Peapod is one of those things that I swear about to all of my friends. And when I tell friends, they'll give me coupons too. So that's something but I truly believe in it, so I have no problem telling the world about Peapod. Another one I like is Stitch Fix, and again, not a huge shopper, so I love that now I have a personal stylist, and her name is Jaden, and she knows my style, and so every month I get sent a package, and it's got 5 items in it, and usually Jaden does a pretty good job. I usually keep 2 or 3 of the items. If I keep all 5 items, I get a 20% discount, but Stitch Fix has this really cool thing going, and I can rate my fix after every one, so she gets to know me better over the years. And if I'm having a particular event, I can say, Jaden, I'm having a wedding coming up. Can you get me some dresses that I might like? And the whole next fix might be 5 dresses that I can try on. So it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool service. And again, totally personalized to me. So here's a note I got from Jaden with some of my outfits I got last month. It goes to the flip side too, word of mouth. So Charter, unfortunately, is one of those brands that I just don't like. It's the only option we have in town. If you have an issue, you go online, they try to automate everything, you can't get through. I was trying to get a discount because they had a customer discount, and then I found out it wasn't in my area. So why are they sending me information with a promotion that wasn't available in my area? They're Chartered, don't they know where I live? Shouldn't they not be sending me promotions that aren't available to me? So I just think they have a really bad customer service experience, and this is where companies can falter. If you're not putting customer-centric strategies in place, then you're going to have customers like me saying unfavorable things about your brand. So you have to watch out now more than ever. Your customers are your spokespeople. I love this idea for marketing today. Practice imperfection. And now more than ever, we're not trying to pretend we're as polished as we were. And you see it a lot in the food business, where now, Oscar Mayer carvers, our lunch meat that's not sliced perfectly into the exact same shape every single time. It looks more like it was carved from a turkey. Or McDonald's, their Egg McMuffin isn't as plastic looking as it once was. They're going for that more authentic value. Domino's, same thing. They're not serving the perfectly round pizza. They're cooking the pizzas on the spot. You're seeing a little bit more of an artisanal flair to things, and people want that authenticity. Look at some ugly shoes. How about Crocs? I mean, they're the ugliest shoes ever, but how popular. And people are sort of drawn to this imperfect shoe, and they've really taken off. I mean, Croc high heels, really? But they're a huge business. The Gifts of Imperfection by Brené Brown, she has really made a career out of authenticity and being true to yourself. So Jennifer Lawrence has this site, and I don't know if it's her site or a fan site, but it's like all the faces of Jennifer Lawrence, and I didn't realize this about her, but she makes these crazy faces when she's getting interviewed, and there is nothing this girl doesn't hold back. So they actually have a website devoted to her crazy faces. When she sees something she doesn't like, she flinches, or if she's talking to someone and she doesn't like what they're saying, you see it right on her face, and she celebrates it, and she doesn't shy away from it, and now it's sort of become a thing. And I love this campaign that came out of France. It's the Imperfect Produce campaign, and they were talking about ugly fruits and vegetables that got sort of tossed out, and they had this experiment with what if they sold the ugly fruits and vegetables for maybe a reduced price, and it turns out that people were buying them up, and they didn't need the beautiful shiny apple. They could buy something with a ding in it, or something that was misshapen, and they still could eat it, and then we weren't wasting all this food. So it works on so many levels, but it was just sort of the ugly fruit campaign that I thought was really great. And I love just sort of finishing up with this tagline from this book called how cool brands stay hot. And the quote is, "Imperfection kills boring," and it's true. We all know that perfection is just so boring, and let's celebrate authenticity and imperfection. And finding your real voice is so important. Once again, all the various venues that we can be in putting our message out there, having a consistent and real, authentic voice is the key to holding together your entire marketing programs. So Tom's Shoes has a great brand, and they're so down to earth, and they also put their money where their mouth is. So they're improving lives through their shoe program. When you buy one of Tom's, you'll help a pair of Tom's, you'll help a person in need. Whether it's shoes or water or Safe Birth or Kindness, their handbags go to one venture, their shoes go to another, and they're really all about giving back. So this is Tom's authentic and real voice, and you know that when you're a Tom's customer that you're part of that community. On the complete flip side of Tom's, there's this hotel, the Hans Brinker Hotel in Amsterdam, and they're just one step below a really bad hostel, and they're not afraid to talk about it. So now they have a free key with your room, now more rooms without windows, now even the dog, even more dog crap in the main entrance. And so they're not even afraid to talk about how low-end their rooms are, but people come from all over the place. European travelers come from all over the place to say they stayed at the Hans Brinker Hotel. So they are celebrating who they are, even though they are like the lowest, worst hotel possible. And they've totally embraced that. Here's a couple other things. That's all you're getting for amenities is this little piece of paper with the cutouts. There's your comb and your soap and your phone and your shampoo. And, you can see it in use there on the sink. So they really have fun with their identity. The Hans Brinker Budget Hotel, it can't get any worse. And then they say, we'll try our best. And you see now they don't even have the toilet paper core anymore. There's just nothing there. So another brand that I love who is true to themselves is Trader Joe's. So let's just go around the horn here with the Trader Joe's signage. $2 chuck, grocery bags, they categorize, they make you feel like you're part of their family. So, and I love this, when they have a lot of, for instance, the German, they had a lot of German goods. So they had pretzel sticks and mustard and premium beer, and they put it all together. So they're grouping your shopping experience the way you might want to shop. And they're merchandising throughout the store. Like I love this, I Pita the Fool, and it's Mr. T, with his promotion for pita chips. So they really have fun with their product, and you feel like you're having fun when you're shopping there. And then Warby Parker is a great brand, and they don't just donate a pair of eyeglasses. You don't buy a pair and they donate a pair. You buy a pair of Warby Parkers and you're part of a bigger system where they're actually donating money to train individuals in countries that need help. And they're training them on how to be eye doctors and serve the people in their community and provide eye care for them. And when they do that, they're creating employment for other people, they're creating training, but most importantly, they want people to feel good. Their mantra, their mission is so that everybody feels incredible. And you feel incredible when you're buying Warby Parker because you look great, but you're also feeling pretty good because you're helping other people out. And the people that they're helping out aren't just getting hand-me-downs. They're getting true training, and they're feeling pretty incredible themselves. So Warby Parker is a great example of a brand who's put their stake in the ground, and they live it every single day. So thank you all for coming today. I really enjoyed being with you for this afternoon, and I know there was a lot to take in, but I hope you found maybe one thing that you can take back with you and put into action right away. Certainly in today's digital age, things are changing so fast, and you can't do everything and you can't be everywhere. But pick one or two things that really resonated with you and that make sense for your brand, and take them back and put them into action. And I look forward to seeing you.